Just one big, massive rock right there. So, what we're going to do is we're going to head back up this hill. There's a couple other offshots that I didn't take, and they might have some nice viewpoints for some nice photos. Let's see if I can take some nice photos. I only have the iPhone with me. I didn't bring any camera gear or anything. Let's see how that goes. Woo! Those ditches are fun. But you know, this is probably the biggest reason why I've fallen in love with dual sport riding. Is just getting out here and seeing new things, exploring new areas. I've always loved the bush. I've always loved being out here, even as a kid. For as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be outside and camp and just be out here. The city, even though we live in a relatively small city, the city, it tires me after a while. I just get so exhausted. The hustle and the bustle and the noise, and I just like it out here, nice and peaceful, and serene, and beautiful. All the trees and the wildlife. I don't know if I caught it on camera earlier or not, but so far I've seen 3 deer and a squirrel. That was funny. When I see the squirrel, I always think of that movie Up. Yeah, that Disney movie Up, and that dog Doug. So every time I see a squirrel, I go, squirrel! And I think it kind of rings home with me, because I think that's how I am. I'm easily distracted and sometimes it's hard to stay focused. But I tell you, once I do focus on a task, that's it. It's all consuming. It's all I think about until I am done. So yeah, dual sporting. So I've only recently been introduced to the world of off-road. I've been riding street bikes forever, and what happened was, let's see, it's going on, I guess 5 years, maybe 4 years ago now. My second oldest was racing motocross, and he invited me or asked me or allowed me to take his bike for a rip. And it was a Kawasaki, I don't even know, 250 something or other, but full on race bike. And I got on that, and I just zipped up the parking lot. Scared the snot out of me, the amount of power and freaking get up and go this thing had. But I tell you, that was it. I was hooked. After spending so many years on the road, and then finally I'm riding this machine on gravel. And it was just, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but something just hit me. And I was just like, yeah, this is what it's all about. So I started saving my pennies, and while I was saving, I kept my eyes open, looking for a decent bike. I did mountains and mountains of research as to, what brand, what size, what should I get for a first-time newbie, never been off-road kind of guy, and that kind of thing. Just totally became obsessed with dual sporting and all that stuff. And there's a joke, a meme running around, and you see it often where, the husband's sitting in front of the computer, and the wife says, "Oh, I wish you would just surf porn instead of motorcycles," or something to that effect, right? Well, that was me. Motorcycles, and always been in love with motorcycles. I've always been fascinated by them. They've always been a part of who I am. Hadn't ridden for a long time. Marriage can do that to you, and marriage and kids. You got to be safe. You got to be responsible. But my wife opened the door and said, "Yes, you can have a bike." I found this Honda VTX 1300, and it was the bike. So anyways, I digress. See, I told you, squirrel. Anyways, So I got that bike and rode around for a bit, and then started searching for, experienced a little bit of off-road, started searching, and then the fellow that I happened to apprentice under for carpentry, a really good friend of mine, he let me ride his 450 KTM, and I took that for a rip and did a little bit of trail riding with that, and accidentally did a jump and scared the snot out of myself. And I think that was my third time off-road, and here I am with a monster freaking 450 and pulling a jump. So I was like, maybe I don't want something so huge. I think I really have to be responsible and hone my skills. So the search kept going on, and I kept, researching and trying to educate myself as much as possible as to how to ride off-road and pick up little tips and trips from all the quote-unquote pros on YouTube, the U-pros. And anyways, long story even longer, I found the Honda 250, and the fellow was selling it. He was a ferry ride and a day's drive away, but it was a price I could not refuse. It's a 2016, and when I bought it, it only had 500 kilometers on it, and we got a Jeep up here. Excellent. Pee break. Oh, little doggy. Hi. Anyways, I didn't want to be talking in my helmet as I passed those folks. So I found the bike, Honda 250. Started, I was already leaning towards Honda, having been a Honda owner all my life. I've had 4 different Hondas, and I was kind of leaning towards there. I just like the, the reliability and, the ease of maintenance. I'm kind of mechanically inclined. I could probably do more than most, but I'm definitely no mechanic by any means. So anyways, I was kind of, leaning towards Honda to begin with. So I found this one Honda, this bike, which I love. And like I said, it was a ferry ride away, and ferry ride and almost a day's drive away. So I went and got it. Got it for a great deal. The guy actually reduced the price when I got there because he was so impressed that I traveled so far, spent a night overnight in a hotel, and then showed up on his door right when I said I would, right on time, in the next morning. And he actually dropped the price for me when I was there, and I says, yeah, just enjoy it, man. So he was selling it because he had just had one too many toys and just wasn't riding it enough. So he was more of a quadder. And so he's happy to see it go, and I was happy to take it. So since purchasing it, I have now put on way more miles on this thing, kilometers, than I have on my street bike. I feel bad for my street bike. She sits there and she doesn't get ridden much. I go out there and I give her a bath and all that sort of stuff. And yes, I call her a her, and her name's Candy, and this one's Lucy, and I'm one of those freaky people that name their motorcycles. But yeah, this one has just been so much fun. So much fun. Like, it's just, I'm at a loss of words to, describe just how fun it is. It's just so fun. And, I got my young girls at home. I've got them some dirt bikes, so I'm getting them going. I picked up a small dirt bike to get my wife going, because she's been watching some of my videos that I've been posting. And she's like, oh, that looks like so much fun, and it's so pretty up there. I'd love to do that. So I thought, yeah, let's get everybody going and get the whole family out here and see what we can find and just have fun. Today's day and age, like I said, the city's just so busy, and technology, and, in my business, everybody wants something from me all the time. And it's like every time I turn around, the phone's ringing. Someone needs this, someone needs that, someone wants this. when can you get this done, you know, blah, blah, blah. So for me, to get on this bike, even for an hour, 2 hours, although I'm one of those crazy guys that I could easily ride from dawn till dusk without stopping. The only thing I need to do is stop for fuel, but you know, just to get out for an hour or two into the bush here is just so, I don't know, so therapeutic, so relaxing, and it just recharges me. It just, I don't know. Again, it's hard to explain. I wish I could put it into words and make it a much more interesting video to listen to. So, yeah, let's take, oh yeah, look at this. That's nice. That's Aerosmith and Coakley right there. So I'm on the other side now. I've been on that far side before, but this is a different vantage point. So we got 10 to 2. Unfortunately, where I'm riding, it's all gated, and they close the gate at 4. I'm almost 2 hours in, with a couple of off shots to, you know, do a little bit of exploring. So I think I should probably head back, so I'm not dragging my bike underneath gates and stuff. I don't know if you can see that, but the way the clouds are coming over the mountain, and they come down like a waterfall and then just sort of disappear. It just looks so awesome. I just love it. What an amazing day. It just really is. It's insane. So happy. So recharged. So ready to take on the week tomorrow. I think that's why I typically ride on Sundays, because it just really puts me in the right mindset to take on the week ahead. So yeah, what else? So yeah, so the 250 here, I freaking love this bike. I got a couple of friends that I ride with that have KTMs, DRZs. Personally, myself, this compared to those, this is the better bike, especially for me. You know, I haven't done the suspension mod. I haven't done the sprockets. That's all still stock. I only put a slip-on muffler on there, the Q4, just because I wanted a little more grunt. You know, whether it makes a difference or not, the main reason why I did it is because I wanted to be a little bit noisier in the bush to, you know, as silly as it sounds, to scare off the bears. So that was one of the main reasons to do it. And also when I'm on the street, I do want people to hear me. I put bar risers on it because I'm a bit of a taller guy. But at almost 6'2", 215, fluctuating to 220, this bike still gets up and goes. On the ride here, I was doing 124 kilometers down the highway. And, you know, that's plenty fast enough. Earlier this year, I did a trip down the Oregon coast and back. We went down the coast, over the mountains, and then came back up the coast. And, you know, I was riding with a Super Duke and BMW, and my little bike did every bit as good as they did, and it hauled my big butt. And all of my camping gear, all my food, all my clothes, all my gear, my tools, everything I needed for that trip to be prepared. And it did it without complaining, with no hesitation. The only thing is the freeways in the States, you know, they're pretty fast. And we did get on a freeway once, and you know, I just stayed in the right lane. I did the speed limit, but you know how it is, everybody does 10 or 20 over the speed limit. And would I recommend this bike? Absolutely, 100% would I recommend this bike to someone who has ridden before but has never ridden off-road, to someone who has never ridden before and wants to learn how to ride road and off-road. Because even when I ride this thing in town, again, it's still so fun. It's light, it's nimble. I mean, I know there's other bikes like the KTMs and stuff. They're a lot lighter than this thing, but this thing doesn't feel heavy. The way it's balanced and where you sit and its center of gravity and blah 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 and all those technical things, it just doesn't feel heavy. I flick it around like no problem. I'm not super experienced in dirt where I'm doing jumps and wheelies, and I don't think I will be. I'm not that guy. I want to go around and explore and take a look and take it in, and I'm not a speed demon on the dirt, and I'm not a trickster. I'm not a hooligan. I'm just out here having fun, and this is the bike to do it on. Absolutely 100%. Guess that's it. I'm just going to put the music back on and ride my way out and enjoy it. And when I get home, I'll edit some footage and see if this is actually going to make a Moto-Vlog or not. And if it did, and you've watched it, and you like it, please let me know. Throw a like up there, throw down a comment. If you got any suggestions as to maybe what I could do different, or if I was just boring, or if I should just give up the idea of even motovlogging, then please, by all means, put down a comment. I don't care. You can be as mean as you want. I got pretty thick skin, and if you're super mean, I'm just going to ignore you anyways. So, but yeah, no, that's it. I'm basically doing the videos for myself, just so that when I'm 80, I can look back on it and remember the good old days, and and it's kind of like a little video diary, really. Track my thoughts and where I was at that stage of my life, and yeah. So that's it. Like I said, till next time, I will catch you guys later.